last night? Do you start with the defense? Or would you prefer to talk about the power display? How about the base running? Josh Hamilton doesn't want to talk about personal awards, but his numbers are doing all the talking for him. Tonight, it may be Josh or another Texas Ranger that takes the hero role. Stay tuned, because you just might find yourself quoting the late Jack Buck. I don't believe what I just saw. Rangers and Red Sox moments away on Fox Sports Southwest. Last night, Nelson Cruz needed only one pitch from Tim Wakefield, a knuckleball that didn't knuckle. And in the bottom of the 11th, he was the final Ranger hero of a comeback from 8-2 down to a 10-9-11 inning victory. Another sold-out house tonight here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington for Game 2 of this series between the Rangers and the Red Sox. And welcome, Dave Barnett, sitting in for Josh Lewin tonight, joined, of course, by Tom Grieve. And you could go up and down the lineup last night and find a significant contribution from just about everybody who got into that game. But Josh Hamilton may have, in a season where he is definitely the front runner for MVP, made his boldest statement yet.
Yeah, he had a game last night that had people saying, I've never seen a player have a game like that before. Whether you were sitting in the stands or up in the press box, everybody was saying the same thing. Some of the things he did last night included what we're going to show you. A long home run to right center field to help the Rangers in their comeback. And then maybe the most exciting play, scoring from second base on an infield single to tie the game in the 8th inning. It's just been remarkable what he's done since June 1st, hit over 400. In fact, that's almost 250 at-bats to hit 400. All the other offensive numbers are off the charts, and obviously no one in the league has played like that the last 2 months.
Well, tonight Colby Lewis hopes there is more where that came from. He has pitched extremely well over his last 4 starts with nothing to show for it because of a severe lack of run support. 1 or 2 runs in all those games tonight against the very tough John Lester. Game 2, sold out Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. The Rangers and Red Sox are next. Boston today. By Jack in the Box. Get Jack's really big chicken sandwich combo for only $3.99 plus tax. And by Bud Light, the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. And here we go before another packed house. Game 2 of 3 between the Rangers and the Boston Red Sox. Colby Lewis again going for his 10th win. Winless in his last 4 starts. And the Boston lineup he will face tonight.
Marco Scutaro will lead off for the Red Sox. J.D. Drew moves up to the 2nd spot, hit a home run in last night's game. Victor Martinez is the catcher. David Ortiz, the DH. Adrian Beltre, the hottest Red Sox, hitting .330. Mike Lowell, Ryan Kalish up from the minor leagues playing left. Billy Hall getting a start at second base. And Eric Patterson in center field tonight. Scouting report on Colby Lewis. Excellent season. Winning record, excellent ERA, almost a strikeout per inning. Another solid Ranger starter at home, and you love to see that. So many times you hear Ranger pitchers can't pitch in this heat, can't pitch at home, but almost every Ranger starter we trot out there has good stats at home, and that's great to see. Colby's had a good season, and one of the main reasons he's pitched well with men in scoring position. There's been some base runners, but they have not been able to score.
Marco Scutaro, the shortstop, leading off tonight. Last night batted second, and he looks at a first pitch strike. Jacoby Ellsbury was the leadoff hitter for Boston in center field last night, but he has been placed on the DL for the 3rd time this year. As of earlier today, 1 ball and 1 strike. He has had 2 different problems with fractured ribs, and he left in the 4th inning last night with pain in his side after colliding in the first play of the game with Tommy Hunter. Breaking ball for a strike, and it is 1-2 on a 102-degree evening. That makes tonight the hottest game of the year. It may be the hottest ticket of the year. 1-2 on Scutaro, batting .268, and Lewis gets him swinging to begin the game.
But Colby all season long has just displayed a great variety of breaking balls. This is his slider. Down and away, he'll throw another slider that breaks a little bit more downward. A slow curveball, slower curveball, changeup, and a fastball. And it's a good assortment of pitches, and it's given him the 7th most strikeouts in the league this year.
Here's J.D. Drew, right fielder, batting .265, 16 home runs. Drew was the 3rd of 3 consecutive Boston home runs in the 4th inning to chase Tommy Hunter. And in a 5-game hitting streak at better than .360. Victor Martinez on deck. Drew last night tying his career high with a home run in the 7th inning for a multi-home run game. 18th time that's happened in his career, and the 3rd time already this year.
Yeah, the Rangers picked up a run in the 7th inning when Benji Molina hit what looked like a line drive that Drew would catch in right field. He's a pretty good right fielder, but he might have overrun the ball last night. It went by him. Benji got a double. That was one of the runs that the Rangers used to come back in last night's game. Generally, if it's hit to right field with Drew out there, you expect it to be caught.
Work the count full. Line drive out to Josh Hamilton. And an easy play for out number 2. You probably wouldn't mind it if he gets some easy plays tonight. Last night required 2 of his best catches all season. He's out there with Murphy and Cruz. Jorge Cantu at first base tonight. Andres Blanco another start at second base. And Taylor Teagardner behind the plate. Andres Blanco for the 2nd straight game, batting 9th and playing second base. And Christian Guzman, in an announcement just before our first pitch, has been placed on the 15-day disabled list.
Well, I think that means that Blanco's going to get a pretty good chance to play some second base. Made an error in last night's game. You don't expect that. He's a very good fielder. Also had a double in last night's game.
1-1 to Victor Martinez with a season-high 11-game hitting streak. Guzman has not played well, has really contributed very little offensively so far as a Ranger, but Ron Washington continues to say he can play, just haven't seen it yet. So right quad strain sends him down, and Pedro Strop, who is pitching lights out in relief for Oklahoma City, gets the call up.
And one more hard throwing right-hander for the Ranger bullpen.
Left field, Murphy over toward the line, and it's a 1-2-3 first inning for Colby Lewis. The Rangers coming to bat when we return to Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. Partner throwing out the first pitch, and who is that behind the plate? He looks familiar.
I don't think he's done much catching, but he picked one in the dirt pretty nicely. Look at that. Once you have those good hands, you never lose them.
I think we can safely say that brought the biggest ovation ever for a first pitch.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun watching that. You know, it was a big opportunity for Chuck. He's extremely excited and happy to finally be recognized as one of the Ranger owners.
Well, we certainly deserved a moment like that, as did Nolan Ryan, after the months upon months of work.
No kidding.
Before they finally took possession of the franchise. Bottom of the first, Andrews Young at Hamilton to face John Lester, and the Rangers have their work cut out against the 12-7 left-hander, 8th in earned run average at 294, tied for 3rd in strikeouts with 160. Nasty stuff. All his pitches are above average. And Andrews looks at a first pitch strike. For Lester, this is only his second career start here. He got a no decision in his first.
Well, he's had 23 starts. Most of them have been excellent. His opponent's batting average is 5th. Colby Lewis is 3rd. So you have 2 of the 5 toughest pitchers in the league to hit in tonight's game. Had a win in his last start against the Yankees.
Chopped to 3rd. Beltre with a backhand. Pulls Mike Lowell off first base, and Elvis is safe.
Now, that's something you won't see very often. Although in Boston, Beltre threw a couple of balls that almost went by the first baseman. Generally, he's got a very accurate arm. He has an unusual way to throw. He stops and throws flat-footed every throw, unless he's charging a bunt. And that's just the way he throws because he's got such a strong arm. Generally, infielders have to get their feet underneath them and have their momentum going toward first base. That time the ball sailed on him, and the Rangers get a base runner.
For Beltre, that is his 16th error of the season. Statistically, one of the best fielding third basemen in Major League history, but he gives the Rangers a base runner here in the bottom of the first, and here is Michael Young. And the first pitch in there to Michael. Like Elvis last night, 1 for 6, his one hit, his 155th career home run. He is 6th in club history now. His next home run will pull him even with A-Rod. Infield double play depth. And Lester, knowing what a good running threat Elvis Andrus is, going to keep very close tabs on him over there.
Dave, you were talking about Kobe Lewis having some tough luck recently because of a lack of run support. Lester's been in the same situation, really. He had a 4-game losing streak until he beat the Yankees. The Red Sox have only scored 5 runs in his last 5 starts while he's been on the mound, so he's suffering from the same thing.
A little bit inside to Michael, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Boston has scored a total of 5 runs for him in his last 5 starts, 1 and 4 in those, and those games really test your ability for both Lester and Lewis to hold down what has got to be natural frustration. Young hits it high in the air, not deep right field, and it's J.D. Drew. Well, we've seen Andrus and Young. The rest of the Ranger lineup. Here comes Josh Hamilton at 362, running away with the batting championship at this point. Guerrero and then Cruz with his 3rd career walk-off home run last night. David Murphy, another start in left field, batting 6th. Cantu, as we said, at first with Teagarden, and Blanco 8 and 9. Haven't talked to anybody today who says they have seen a better game by a Ranger than Josh Hamilton's last night.
I agree. I've talked to a lot of people up in the press box, and almost to a person, they say that's the best game I've ever seen a player have.
Goes after the first pitch. Bill Hall ranges far to his left, to the backhand flip to Lowell for out number 2.
And one of the guys that asked me the same question and said that to me was Joe Castiglione, the radio broadcaster for the Red Sox, who has seen a lot of great performances in the time he's been with the Red Sox at Fenway Park and Yankee Stadium. So that's a pretty high compliment coming from him. But it is hard to imagine a player could do more to help his team win than Josh did last night.
4 hits, 2 incredible catches. I think the one at center field, the catch of the year. And then what Josh said today was his favorite play was scoring from second base on the infield single. You just don't see that.
No, you don't. And, you know, the other thing he did is he stole a base with a game on the line. He's stolen 8 bases this year. He's only been caught once. And while I don't have the stat in front of me, I would bet that most of those are after the midpoint of the game in a very close game when the stolen base really matters. It doesn't run for the sake of running, but when you need a stolen base and it's an appropriate time, he's only been thrown out 1 time.
Well, Vlad Guerrero at 298. 2 for 5 last night. And that one hit sharply but well fouled. This was the infield hit. And at that point, Hamilton already around third. Dave Anderson waving him home. And simply a matter of having a good lead to begin with, and then being very alert as to what was going on at first base, and fast enough to take advantage of that very slight opening to come home.
Yeah, and the other side of it is that's great third base coaching by Dave Anderson. As soon as that ball was hit, he anticipates the opportunity for Josh to keep on going. Josh really can't see what goes on behind him as he's going to third. Dave saw it all the way, waved him as he came toward third base. Josh kept on going, and obviously he was able to score. So it's a good combination on that. Good physical ability and excellent coaching at third base.
Guerrero fouls it off his leg, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Vlad with 2 hits last night. A good sign. It's just his second multi-hit game in his last 21 starts as he continues to search for what he had through the month of June and has really deserted him from July on.
Well, if you look at the last 6 weeks of the season in ways the Rangers can get even better, one is they can get Ian Kinsler back healthy, hitting third, and the other is Michael Young and Vladimir Guerrero can both get hot for the last 6 weeks, and that'll go a long way toward really getting the offense in gear. Not bad right now.
There's a swing and a miss. Breaking ball in the dirt. The Rangers are out in the first inning. Andrus reaching on the air. 1 man left. Nothing through 1 here in Arlington.
we have Suzanne along with her friend Pam. They are with the YES organization. Suzanne, tell us a little bit about YES.
Hi, James. Thanks for the opportunity. 200,000 Americans are diagnosed with liver tumors each year. That's one person every 3 minutes. It's scary. It's overwhelming. I know. I've been there. If you or someone you know has been diagnosed with cancer of the liver, there is hope and help. Go to beatlivertumors.org for more information.
There we go.
Right, and this woman is amazing, and she personifies the word hope. In fact, she's being inducted into the Texas Women's Hall of Fame next month for her work with YES. If you want to support the organization, go to beatlivertumors.org.
There we go. Ladies, thank you. Keep up the good work. The Little League team from Oklahoma on hand, having a good time, right?
Yeah!
There we go. Go Rangers. Dave.
All right, 2 balls and no strikes on Big Papi, David Ortiz, who sends one to the gap and taken on the bounce out there by Nelly Cruz. And David Ortiz, the first Boston base runner of the game.
I think Ortiz hit this ball off the end of the bat. Kobe takes a little bit off, throws his 2-seam fastball down and away. Ortiz does hit it off the end of the bat, but finds an open spot in right field for that hit.
What Vlad Guerrero is going through now is how Big Papi opened the first 2 months of the season. And
yeah,
boy, his fans in Boston turned on him. They were ready to get rid of him and almost take nothing in return. He has proven he has still got plenty in his tank.
Yeah, I think when you've got great players who are healthy and working hard with the right attitude, and they go through a time like that, then they deserve the patience and the respect of their team, of their fans, that they'll come out of it. And I think that's the way you have to look at Ortiz and what he was able to do. And even though Vladdy's struggling right now, remember the first 3 months of the year, and the fact we've got 6 weeks left for him to get hot again too.
2 balls and a strike to Adrian Beltre, having a terrific year, as you saw, hitting .330, 22 home runs, including last night, the second of the 3 straight, leading off the 4th inning, chasing Tommy Hunter. Lifts that one very high down the right field line. Cruz, as he reaches foul territory, can't bring that one in. Reached out right as it arrived at the railing. That brick wall jutting out there.
Yeah, it's one thing to run into the wall where the padding is in the green part, but you can't run into that at full speed and expect not to get hurt. So that's a dangerous area of the ballpark for an outfielder. And fortunately, that corner does have padding.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Beltre. Big Papi hardly a threat to run, not being held on. Double play depth of the infield, and a soft looper that's going to fall out in right center field. The Red Sox begin the 2nd inning with back-to-back singles. Ortiz down to second now, and Mike Lowell will be the batter.
Yep, hit the same way, really, to the same spot. Breaking ball, off-speed pitch, it looked like, that Beltre hit right off the end of the bat, just like Ortiz did. It's a slider, very well located, lower part of the plate. Beltre's having a great season, and he's a good hitter. A lot of guys might swing and miss at that. Beltre's able to put it in play and find a hole with a little blooper.
Mike Lowell now, who for much of this season was rumored to be headed to the Rangers, but has been injured much of the year too. Healthy again and playing well. 2 for 4 last night. And looks at strike 1. Multi-hit games back-to-back for the first time this year for Lowell, including the end of the Toronto series. This is 13th start of the year at first base. Left field, Murphy tracking this one back in front of the warning track. And he's got the first out here in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, that's one. Different runners at second base would have been able to tag up and go to third base and have a runner in scoring position with 1 out. Ortiz chose to play it halfway and ends up going back to second. Lowell hit that ball pretty well, but it was obvious as the ball entered the outfield that David had it under control and was going to catch it. And from way out there, it's tough to get the ball to third base before someone tags up and goes to third base.
So 1 out. Ortiz still at second. Beltre at first. And here's Ryan Kalish, rookie left fielder, batting right at 300. 1 for 5 with a run scored last night. And when Colby Lewis is going well, Tom, one of the key ingredients always seems to be his ability to throw his breaking ball for strike one, pitch backwards, as they say.
Yeah, he has the ability to use pretty much any of his pitches at any time, and that's why you see a guy who's not throwing 97 miles an hour be able to have a strikeout per inning, be 7th in the league in strikeouts. It's because he knows how to pitch and has a really good assortment of pitches.
Now misses on 2 straight fastballs.
That second one looked like it was close enough to get some consideration as a strike.
Back to breaking stuff. 3 balls and a strike. Kalish just up from Pawtucket, the Paw Sox, on deadline day, July 31st. Single at his first major league at bat. And looks at ball 4. So with 1 out, Boston loading the bases here in the second inning for Bill Hall.
That's pretty close to being a strike. In fact, if you look at the zone there were 5 pitches. 3 of them could have been strikes. 1 of them was fairly close. And now you got to go to work with bases loaded and 1 out. And Hall last night showed that he might be a little susceptible to the breaking ball down and away.
15 home runs, 7 in his last 15 games with the bat. He is the Red Sox Mr. Do Everything. This is his 30th start at second base. He's played all 3 outfield spots, shortstop, third base, even pitched early in the season. 1 ball, no strikes. He pitched a 1-2-3 ninth inning against Kansas City. Home runs at 5 of those positions. And 15 in just now his 87th game. That's a terrific ratio. Another breaky ball doesn't break, and now 2 balls and no strikes. Hall used in the 9th inning as a replacement for Jed Lowry last night, who left with heat exhaustion. Wednesday, Hall with a 2-homer game. Drove in 4 runs. RBI chance here. Swings and misses. At a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. The Red Sox in their last 2 games have had just horrific losses. Thursday, they were up 5-2 in the 9th inning at Toronto, and Jonathan Papelbon suffered his 6th blown save, his 5th loss of the year. And then there was last night.
And it was pretty good back-to-back games for the Rangers as far as contrast goes. The Rangers lost a tough one with Cliff Lee on the mound and came back and won a great one last night. Back-to-back days.
You either say, well, they got that one back, or you say, oh, if they'd only held on to that New York game.
That's generally what Ranger fans would say. But it's just another great example when you hear people say, boy, that loss might have a carryover effect. That was just a devastating loss. And that may be true in other sports, but I don't think it bears much credibility in baseball. Another day comes, you play every day. It's a different pitcher for both teams. What happened one day really doesn't have a lot of bearing on what happens the next day.
Lewis staring in. 2-2 pitch. Nice stop by Taylor Teagarden, and with no place to put Bill Hall, the count has run full.
And I think Colby can get Hall to swing at that pitch. It's just got to be a little bit closer to the strike zone. That one was so far away, it just wasn't tempting to Hall. If he throws it near the strike zone, I think Hall will swing at it.
Ortiz takes his lead off third. Beltre off second. Kalish at first. 2 singles and a walk, putting Lewis in this 1-out predicament, and time called at the plate. Boy, the Red Sox will call time on you. They will step out every pitch. They're a team full of Mike Hargroves. If he were playing today for Boston, he would just blend in. They're all like that. Now Hall appears to be ready, and the 3-2 pitch his chop foul.
Well, there's a good one near the strike zone. Probably a strike, and Hall did offer at it, just able to get a piece of it, though. That's the same pitch that Beltre was able to hit off the end of the bat and bloop into right field. Good pitcher's pitch.
In a 1-2-3 first, Colby needed only 14 pitches. He's thrown 21 pitches already here in the second. And again, at 3-2 and another foul ball. So Bill Hall extending the suspense here. The last time a Boston team had consecutive walk-off losses, over 6 years ago, July 1st and 2nd of 2004. Both of those extra inning losses, 13 innings at New York, 12 innings at Atlanta. Chance for an early lead here. Ball strike three, nails down the outside corner with a fastball for out number 2.
Hall didn't like it. It was a fastball, not a breaking ball. And Colby got the call. Big pitch. And that's a strike. I think Hall was fooled by the pitch because he'd seen so many breaking balls out there. He didn't like the call, but that's a strike.
And a couple of the other pitches probably were strikes as well.
Yeah, and he's upset like that pitch was 6 inches outside. That pitch caught the plate. You could see it from the view overhead. The pitch tracker confirmed it. He just didn't get a good look at the pitch.
Ball one to Eric Patterson. .221 average, 6 home runs, 15 runs batted in. The center fielder came in as a defensive replacement in the 4th inning last night. Down low, 2-0. Paul Nauert with not really a pitcher-friendly strike zone so far behind the plate. Ted Barrett is at first, Tony Randazzo at second, and Brian Gorman at third. Lewis ready. And the 2-0 barely on the outside corner. We'll say this for Colby. He is not giving in. There is nothing down the middle. And as you said, the base hits in this inning, Ortiz and Beltre both went down and got good pitchers' pitches. Very shallow left field. Andrews backing out. Gives way at the last second to David Murphy.
Oh, that's fortunate.
Lewis loading the bases, but gets out of trouble with a strikeout and barely with this flyout.
As you talked about the performance of Josh Hamilton last night, no doubt we are watching something very special unfold right before our eyes, and it is not lost on his teammates either. Tonight's Geico quote of the day comes from Ian Kinsler, who answers the question, is Josh Hamilton the MVP?
He should win the Gold Glove in left field and in center field, if that's even possible. He should win 2 Gold Gloves. I really believe that. And I mean, everywhere that is possible to win, I think that it should go to Josh. I mean, I don't know if everyone's watching, but if they're not, they should start, because the way that he's playing the game right now is different than anyone else in the game.
No doubt Josh is playing at a high level. Ian Kinsler, unfortunately, on the DL, but he does have a front row seat to watch Josh Hamilton put together a very special season, guys.
All right, Emily, 1-2 to Nelson Cruz.
It's one thing for us to make those kind of comments, which are pretty much the same way. I don't think anyone could say it much better than Ian just said it. In the dugout, watching it every day, that's how all the players feel about it. When your peers feel that way, it's pretty much exactly what's going on.
Yeah, when you're nominated for 2 Gold Gloves, both your positions.
That's probably not going to happen, but I know what Ian's talking about.
Well, Cruz, who ended it last night, past the 4-hour mark. A little number. Beltre will have to barehand. And not in time as Cruz shows his speed getting down the line.
That's exactly what it was. He showed his speed, because that was a spectacular play by Beltre. You got a guy that's about 6'3" and 225 pounds with that kind of agility and arm strength. The fact that he didn't get him doesn't take away what a beautiful play that was by Beltre. I love watching a guy play like that. And I love watching Nelly Cruz run, because that's a major part of his performance for the Rangers, is his speed to track down fly balls in the outfield and his speed on the bases.
And the least recognized part of his game. A big part of what he does offensively and defensively.
Yeah, if you watch what Josh is doing out there, a notch below that with the same kind of things and 5 tools as Nelly Cruz. And no one in baseball can put together 2 outfielders that come close to matching what these 2 guys do, not just performance-wise, but physically on a field. I mean, Nelly's played himself into superstar category too. When he first came up, he was trying to become an average outfielder. Now he's gone beyond that with the plays he makes out there now.
Well, it's remarkable just from last year when he had a lot of trouble, especially going back to the wall.
Yeah,
judging balls, that's completely gone now.
Yeah, he's really worked at his outfield play, and to me, that's made him a complete player and a player that's an all-star player, frontline star player.
Scudero, and the relay from Hall not in time. Murphy avoiding the double play. David entering tonight's game with a hit streak at 8 straight.
When you think about the Ranger team, and you hear a lot of people talk about 5-tool players, and usually it's an exaggeration, but the Rangers have 3 of them. You've got Hamilton at center field, you've got Cruz in right field, and you've got Kinsler at second base. You've got 3 all-star players with the proverbial 5 tools: hit for average, hit for power, play defense, run and throw. And most teams don't even have 1. The Rangers have 3 of them. So you look for reasons why the Rangers are in first place and playing this kind of baseball. That's one of them right there. The caliber of talent that they have down on the field.
Jorge Cantu tonight starting at first for the 5th time as a Ranger. One other game he started at third. Acquired July 29th from the Marlins. Cantu has hit in his last 6 straight, and overall as a Ranger, .316, 6 for 19.
Dave, last night in our game we set the record for announcements in one game, and I've got a feeling we're in that same league. So if you don't mind, as the game goes on, I'm going to start chipping away at it. I don't want to surprise you with these.
Foul off the foot of Cantu. Well, I'm assuming that they have something to do with the smorgasbord that is sitting behind us. This looks like what my family goes through on the 4th of July back there.
Most of them do. And the first one I'll mention comes from Robin Land. She's celebrating a birthday. from Pecos, Texas, sent up some pistachios from their farm, which were very much appreciated. Thank you very much, Robin.
1 ball, 1 strike. Lester to Cantu. Murphy taking off with a great jump, steal, second base. Never any question whether he would beat the throw of Victor Martinez.
Yeah, I think Martinez over the years has improved throwing wise, but he's not going to have much of a chance with that jump and with this pitch. Very difficult. He did a good job of catching and getting rid of it, but never had much of a chance to get David anyway.
8 steals, 9 tries for David Murphy. So he's in scoring position with 1 out. And a 2-1 count on Cantu. Taylor Teagarden on deck. Paul Deaking behind the bag at second base. And now 3 balls and a strike. John Lester, first-time All-Star this year. As we said, 8th in the league in earned run average, 7th in wins, 3rd in strikeouts. On the road this year, his ERA is .274. That's 3rd best in the league. The 3-1 pitch. Now a full count to Jorge.
Want to send some get well wishes to Carol Henserling. She watches every game from the hospital. And Carol, we hope you're watching tonight. Hope you get well soon. Carol is the mother of Carla Janeway, who we affectionately call the Empress around here.
Lester really slowing things down now with Murphy at second, 1 out. And this 3-2 pitch, right field. J.B. Drew in his tracks virtually. And Murphy will have to hang tight at second base. 2 outs in the Ranger second inning. Well, you can get half-price tickets online for the game Wednesday, August 25th against the Minnesota Twins with Ozarka website Wednesdays. Tickets available in a variety of seating areas. Some restrictions apply. Order your tickets at TexasRangers.com. Sponsored by 103.3 FM ESPN Radio. Well, Murphy hopes now that Taylor Teagarden can bring him home with the first run of the game. Taylor hoping that he can carry over the misery that he has dealt the Oakland A's to another opponent. Good fastball at the knees. 3 home runs, 5 runs batted in. All the damage against 1 pitching staff. Just one of those oddities that you just cannot explain, but something that makes baseball unique.
Yeah, he just happened to come to the ballpark during that series feeling well, swinging the bat well, and just happened to be against the A's.
Yeah, Lester gets him to fish for 1 down low, 0-2. Taylor getting in last night as a defensive replacement. Since his call-up, hitting .286, and this was a guy who really couldn't make contact, literally, through most of his first stint with the Rangers before they had to send him down. He worked extremely hard, tried a number of technical adjustments. We've seen the results. Able to hold up on that one inside, 1-2. Jared Saltalamacchia, as you're probably aware, in the park with the members of the bench of the Boston Red Sox in this series. Having been acquired around deadline time. Lester's 1-2, and he gets Teagarden for out number 3. Second strikeout for John Lester. And through 2 at jam-packed Rangers ballpark in Arlington, 0-0. See what's new from AT&T. Visit att.com for details. Dave Barnett for Josh Lewin tonight. Off on a football assignment with Tom Grieve. 0-0 as Colby Lewis will face the top third of the Boston order here in the third inning. Scudero, Drew, and Martinez. Marco struck out to begin the game. Ended a 0 for 22 slump with his RBI single in the fourth inning. That 7-run Boston fourth. Hard shot backhanded down the line by Young, and a strike across the diamond to Cantu. One of Michael Young's better defensive plays of late.
Have a good play. You know you've got time because the ball's hit pretty hard. You field it cleanly, get your feet underneath you, and a long, accurate throw gets the job done.
Scudero 0 for 2. J.D. Drew now. He hit it on the barrel his first time up. But right at Josh Hamilton in center field and looks at a first pitch strike. Lewis beat Boston July 16th at Fenway 8-4. And again tonight trying for his 10th win of the season. If he didn't have to keep going, Tom, against Trevor Cahill of Oakland, he would already be there.
That's right. And you were talking about how he hasn't gotten his share of the run support. It's looking like it's probably going to be tough to get a lot of run support tonight with John Lester on the mound. Hopefully it'll be a nice low-scoring game. The Rangers can get the hits and score the runs to get the job done. That curveball will get the job done to J.D. Drew.
Yep. Third strikeout. Drew 0 for 2. And now Victor Martinez. And speaking of Trevor Cahill, the A's at Minnesota tonight, trailing the Twins 1-0 in the top half of the seventh inning. Minnesota 1 run, 5 hits. Cahill the starter for the A's, and it's his turn not to get any support. Oakland with only 3 hits so far. Lewis coming out throwing strikes here in the third inning.
That's nice to see. He was very careful last inning. Ended up pitching out of the jam.
But it took 27 pitches for him to get through the second inning. Down the left field line, long run. Murphy, even with a slide, not able to catch up to it, but great effort.
Yeah, that's a slide to save your body right there. When you're going that fast, even with padding, you smash into that wall, got a great chance to get hurt. And that really is the only intelligent way to go after that ball. Safe way to go after that ball for sure, even though you run the risk of getting hurt when you do that too. Great try by David.
People have no idea how hard the warning track is.
Yeah, when you dive onto that, you definitely feel it.
Some of them are like concrete parking lots with a little sand that sprinkles
dust
over
on top of it. Birthday wishes for Debbie Seymour from Lubbock, Texas. Debbie's not afraid to tell the world that she's 50 years old today. Or if she was afraid, it's too late now.
You just shouldn't
have written it down on the card.
1 and 2 to Martinez.
We got a nice batch of cookies from Graham, Texas. Unfortunately, there's no name on it.
Well, they knew.
So whoever you are, you know who you are from Graham, Texas, and we appreciate it.
It looks like tonight is intermittent baseball surrounded by eating.
Most of the eating has already taken place, but there's plenty of opportunity for more, that's for sure.
Well, still 1 ball, 2 strikes to Martinez.
The big hit tonight was the sopapilla cheesecake from Terry and Jamie Holder from Wichita Falls. The connoisseurs in the booth said that goes down as one of the top 5 entrees of the year up here. So thank you very much, people.
Nice stop by Taylor Teagarden, 2 and 2.
And for bringing that sopapilla cheesecake all the way from Wichita Falls.
It's a long way to keep a dessert like that.
Yeah, the drive here from Wichita Falls was a lot longer than it lasted once we opened it up in our booth, that's for sure.
2-2 pitch. Full count. Martinez, one of the 11 Red Sox on the disabled list when the Rangers visited Boston after the All-Star break. They now have 6 still there. Healthy now, though. David Murphy in just a couple of steps. Had him played perfectly. And it's a 1-2-3 third for Colby Lewis. Still scoreless. Sleeve Rangers shirt. Join the Rangers for a special pregame concert that evening, performed by Mercy Me, presented by I Am Second. Be sure to buy in advance. Tickets are going fast for this great game at TexasRangers.com or 972 Rangers. Andres Blanco batting .228. No homers, 3 runs batted in. Looks at a strike from John Lester.
And Lester is really tough on right-hand hitters. The pitch that he struck Taylor Teagarden out, his ability to throw the cutter down and in. It looks like a decent pitch to hit, and then it moves in and down toward the end as it gets to the hitter and becomes a very difficult pitch to hit and a difficult pitch to lay off of.
Blanco last night doubled in 5 trips. Also a critical error followed by 4 of the 7 Red Sox runs in that 4th inning. A big cut. It's 1-2.
And that's the pitch. That's the hard cutter. Down and in.
You didn't hear earlier, Rangers have placed Christian Guzman on the 15-day disabled list. Right quad strain. And reliever Pedro Strop up again from Oklahoma City. Fortify the bullpen. That'll scatter some folks. Still 1-2 to Blanco. Our 4th leaderboard. Strikeouts per 9 innings. Brandon Morrow, after striking 17 at his near no-hitter. Topping that list, Lester and Lewis, 4th and 5th. Will be almost a strikeout per inning. Lester slightly above. And Blanco holding off that breaking ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I want to thank Pam Rowe for the oatmeal cookies, their famous family recipe. Thank you very much. Pam and Leroy Rowe are celebrating their 38th anniversary, and they're also here with Trisha Bang on her 29th birthday. Thank you very much. I'm getting there, Dave.
Making a dent through the hole, under a dive by Scudero, and Blanco with a leadoff single to begin the 3rd inning.
Well, the Rangers have had the leadoff man on base every inning. Andrus got on an error. Cruz a little infield tapper, and now Blanco with a good at bat gets a pitch that he can handle and hits it into left field.
2nd Ranger hit. And it brings up the top of the order, and Elvis Andrus, who reached on an error by Beltre to begin the Rangers' 1st inning.
And so you've got a situation here where it's a possible bunt situation. You've got Beltre way in at third. It could be a hit and run situation. Or it could be none of the above.
Well, judging on the season-long tendency toward aggressiveness and the way that Ron Washington likes to play the game, seems like there'd be some sort of play on here, because this is a game that has started out the way it may end, where runs will be at a premium. There may only be one or two. You may have to force the issue to get that one or two. A ball and a strike to Elvis.
Well, he's shown no signs of bunting. Beltre not buying it yet, though. He's still in front of the bag on the grass at third base.
The days of the Rangers sitting back waiting for the 3-run home run, just a distant memory. Wash has erased all vestiges of that philosophy. And the results are there to see. 8.5 game lead, biggest in baseball.
Yeah, I think aggressive base running is an important part of the Rangers offense. Occasionally you'll see outs run into, but more often than not you'll see pressure put on the defense that aids the cause for the Rangers.
There goes Blanco. He is picked off. Lowell's throw and Scudero's tag.
And I'm not sure what play was on right there, but if it's a hit and run, you can't get picked off on a hit and run. On a hit and run play, getting a jump is not the key thing. The pressure is on the hitter to put the ball in play. Now, if that's a straight steal, that's a different story. But if it's a hit and run, you can't go to second until you know the pitcher's throwing home. So we'll wait and see till maybe tomorrow whether that was a straight steal or a hit and run. It's hard to say.
One out, and a good slow breaking ball for strike two. 1-2 now on Andrews.
Rangers may have decided they want to try to run a lot tonight. Again, Martinez, while he's improving throwing, it's not his strong suit. But Lester does have a good move to first base. We saw it just then. And judging by this conversation, it was either a missed sign or a hit and run. And Ron Washington is telling him on a hit and run, you have to make sure he throws the ball. But I appreciate the effort. We got it straight. Go get him.
Another 1-2. And Andrews gets it through on the right side. So back-to-back base hits through the left and right holes of the infield, but because of Blanco's out on the base paths, no chance for that to bring in a run. Michael Young now will bat with Elvis at first, trying to stay out of the double play. First time up, Michael hit a fly ball to right field. Anytime Boston catches a would-be base stealer is cause for celebration for them. They have allowed 117 stolen bases and only caught 29. It is amazing to look at their record with virtually nothing in the running game, either for them or holding down the opponent's running game. Double play ball right at Bill Hall. Scudero, low throw, dug out by Lowell at first. And the inning-ending double play after the Rangers get 2 base hits. We've played 3. We're still scoreless. Chevrolet for their support of Texas Raiders baseball. For more information on Chevy's commitment to Youth League baseball programs, visit ChevyTexasBaseball.com. With Tom Breed, Dave Barnett for Josh Lewin. Red Sox bat in the 4th inning with their 4, 5, and 6 hitters against Colby Lewis, David Ortiz, Adrian Beltre, and Mike Lowell. Ortiz singled his first time up, stranded at third base in the 2nd inning, and looks at a first pitch curve for a strike. Talking about the running game or lack thereof with the Red Sox. To be 15 games over 500. High in the air.
I don't know how he even hit that pitch. It almost hit him.
Barely in foul territory. Cantu hauls it in. Now, that was his hit on the fist. As you can see and still see any kind of contact.
That's a hard thing to do. Hit that pitch the way he hit it without breaking his bat. That's keeping your hands in about as far as you can and still swinging the bat.
That's the biggest surprise, that he's walking back, not just holding a reminder of what that bat used to be in his hand.
It was a good cutter that just kept coming and coming inside. And by the time it made contact, it was way too far inside to do anything with.
0-2 to Beltre, also singled his first time up. The Red Sox, having only stolen 43 bases all year and allowed about 3 times that many, to just completely eliminate that whole section of baseball as any kind of an advantage. Remarkable that the record is what it is. Blanco and Beltre retired. 2 quick outs for Lewis here in the 4th inning.
Another thing you like about Beltre, he plays hard all the time. Doesn't jog to first base, sprints to first base. And even with Seattle, when he might not have been living up to the power potential that they hoped for with that big contract, you could never slight Beltre for the way he played the game. He played hard every day.
Mike Lowell swings at the first pitch. He flied to left his first time up. The all-time leader, Major League history, for fielding percentage by a third baseman.
Kobe, as he did last inning, coming out firing strikes.
He's up to 60 pitches, 37 strikes, 3 strikeouts, only 1 walk.
Wow.
There's another strikeout.
In, out, in.
And another 1-2-3 inning. That's how 3 of the first 4 have gone for Lewis. Paul Mauert ringing him up. Josh Hamilton will lead off the Ranger fourth. ask tonight's trivia question. Nelson Cruz has a Rangers record 4 extra inning home runs this season. What is the major league record? Chew on that for a while. Josh Hamilton looks at ball 1. Grounded out to second on the only pitch he saw back in the first inning. It'll be Guerrero and Cruz in the Ranger 4th. And the ball and the strike. 43 pitches now from John Lester. 28 strikes against 15 balls.
Now, one thing Lester does that helped him last inning, he gets a lot of ground balls. He has almost a 2-to-1 ratio, ground balls to fly balls. That's 7th in the league. And so in addition to getting a lot of strikeouts, he gets twice as many ground balls as fly balls. And that helps him with men on base to get a double play, which helped him get out of the inning last inning.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Hamilton asked before the game tonight if he's keeping up with his stats, where he is, top usually half a dozen or more categories in the American League. He says, well, they're up there on the scoreboard every night in your face. It's hard not to pay attention to it. But as far as the MVP talk, he says it is simply too early.
I agree.
They disagree out there.
Not too early for us to talk about it, though. And I think all anyone's saying right now is if you took the vote today, I think it's a foregone conclusion. But Josh is right. There's a lot of time left and a lot of time for other people to assert themselves over the last 6 weeks.
Base hit. Took a breaking ball, 3-2 pitch. And all 4 innings now, the Rangers have gotten the leadoff man on against John Lester. Jim Knox is with a very special guest.
All right, Dave. Yes, Misty May Trainer, the 2-time Olympic gold medalist in beach volleyball, Matt Trainer's wife. Hey, on hand, you were in town just a few days. You're back out competing, huh?
Yeah, just a short flight from Moscow. I ended up here on Wednesday. I'm glad to see the games that I've been able to catch, and the Rangers are doing an excellent job, and I hit the road again.
Speaking of hitting the road, Matt gets to a rehab assignment starting Monday. You had the same injury, so you're giving him a few pointers?
I did. I was watching it on TV. I tore my PCL in my sophomore year in college, and I told him, listen to the trainers, listen to the doctors, rehab, and you'll be back.
There we go. Misty, good seeing you. Appreciate the time. Back to you, Dave.
Wow, that's a treat for Matt. Actually have their schedules coincide where they could be in the same time zone, in the same country. 2-0 to Vladdy, who struck out his first trip.
I doubt you're able to watch a whole lot of baseball in Moscow, though.
Talking with Clint Hurdle, Rangers hitting coach, before the game about Vlad Guerrero and whether it's difficult to help coach him through a slump. And he says not really, for a couple of reasons. First, it takes forever for the man on first base. Big rip. And it is 2 balls and a strike. Now, Vlad is such an unorthodox hitter that in Hurdle's case, he says you have to kind of make your advice to what applies to him. And he says one of the things he asks him is, what's he looking at? What is he triggering his decision to swing on? That one lifted foul. Lowell chases it down, but it bounces into the stands. 2-2. And that question is involving whether he's looking at the ball off the pitcher's hand. Is he looking at the pitcher's foot as he sets it down and starts the delivery? What is it that is jump-starting his timing mechanism? And that way kind of gets him thinking about things like that may or may not be aligned the way he wants them to be, the way they are when he's hitting well. As he throws over to first, and Hamilton is back. But I thought of the question because Guerrero, when he's going well, swings at all kinds of pitches. So it's not really anything different in terms of pitch selection with him. It's simply a lot different results.
Yeah, I think the difference right now is he's not hitting the pitches that he was hitting earlier in the season. There's a good ball to take right there that occasionally he'll swing at. I don't know that the pitchers are pitching him any differently now than before. He's just going through a rough stretch where his timing's off a little bit. And when he does get the pitches that he was driving before, he's just not doing that right now. But timing's a funny thing. You come out one day and you just don't feel it, and you don't have it. Come out the next day and say, whoa, there it is. Now I feel it. And for Vlad, hopefully that's something that happens soon and lasts for the rest of the year.
Shortstop, Scudero, not in time at second base. In time for the out at first. The Hamilton speed factor shows up again. Wow.
Boy, how many times you see the big things easily, the home runs, the RBIs, maybe scoring from second on a single, but you just don't see guys beat this play at second base. Not that that was a hard smash and an easy double play, but it's a ground ball to short that most runners at first, even fast runners, don't get the jump to beat the play at second base. It's just another example of how hard he plays every pitch and the little things he does that other great players don't do, let alone regular players.
So instead of a double play, base is empty. Josh in scoring position, 1 out. And here is Nelson Cruz. Just misses on the back door. Nelly with an infield hit reached to begin the second inning.
Now, I think you get an idea of what it looked like for Josh to beat that ball to second when you see how awkwardly Hall fielded the ball and still threw to first base in time to get Vladimir.
Yeah, 6-4-3 for 1 out. When was the last time you saw that? Ripped right at Beltray. One of the hardest hit balls of the night by a Ranger, but it's the second out.
I'll give you another slight example of Josh and his instincts, not slight, on that play. Line shot to third base. So many base runners take their first step toward third base. And Josh, the minute this ball is in the air, is on his way back to second. Didn't matter because no one had time to cover second base anyway. But the point is, his instincts are so good that he's not 2 steps toward third base trying to scramble to get back on that line shot.
So now Murphy with 2 outs to try and deliver the first run of the game. David Reese on a fielder's choice in the second, stole second base, but stayed there as Cantu flied out and Teagarden struck out. Rangers are out hitting the Sox 4-2. But we remain deadlocked. Martinez having to reach to bring that one in. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Corey and Jessica Turner are at the game tonight. Jessica made us a huge batch of delicious Chex Mix. She calls it Texas Ranger Trash. I just sampled it, and I give a big thumbs up. Thanks for that. And the picture of your beautiful family, Trey and Shelby Grace, your beautiful kids. Very nice. Thank you.
Here's the 1-1. And Murphy fouls it straight back.
While Josh is on second, one of his biggest fans is Kelly Johnson from Oregonia, Ohio, 40 years old today. And our last announcement of the night, Adam and Elizabeth Bozeman sent some delicious lemon squares up. And so now if you've been watching the whole game, you realize why we've been bragging about our smorgasbord up here. It's rather large tonight.
Thanks to all the contributors. Right back to Lester. And after another leadoff man reaches, the Rangers remain 0-0 as we head to the 5th. And let's answer our AT&T trivia question from a moment ago. Nelson Cruz, Rangers record 4 extra inning homers this season. The major league record 5 by Charlie Maxwell, the 1960 Tigers. You never pitched against Charlie Maxwell, did you, Steve?
No, he was a little after me, Dave. No, I didn't. I know the name.
Charlie Maxwell was big for hitting home runs on the weekends, if I remember.
What a specialty to have.
Weekend Maxwell, huh?
Well, Buzz joins us here for the 5th inning in as different a game from last night as you could ever get.
A couple guys going at it pretty good tonight. Dave, you'd have to look at Colby Lewis. He had the one hiccup there in the 2nd inning, but really didn't do a bad job of pitching out of that trouble, and the ball still wasn't hit hard. And Lester has been Lester. I mean, he has established the inside corner of right-handed hitters, and he's one of the best left-handers, I think, at doing that in the major leagues, being able to come across the plate and stay right there and really make right-handed hitters flinch.
That's in there for base hit out to Cruz in right field. Ryan Kalish, who walked his first time up, still yet to be retired. One of these matchups where, for whatever reason, both pitchers have been starved for run support. And I guess that just comes down to the luck or lack of luck in the draw of who you're facing.
Yeah, I think you're right. In Colby's case, the entire pitching staff had gone through starters, had gone through about a 2 or 3 week lull for the Ranger offense. So all of them were kind of starved. And the guys that got a little bit of run support, I think, had to consider themselves lucky. But Colby has been hardest hit, I guess, of those. Cliff Lee has come off that wagon a little bit and gotten some runs the last couple of times out.
How hard is it to shut all of that out? Because it's all under the category of things you can't control.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing that not only Colby, but I think this entire ball club that the Rangers have assembled this year is really good at blocking the extemporaneous things out that they don't have any control over. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're able to come back and come back after tough losses, if you will.
Kalish going with the pitch and the throw in by Cruz, not in time.
Nelly knew where the runner was at second base, but he couldn't make the ball come down as fast as he wanted. He was in position to throw. The ball just wouldn't get down quick enough for him to get it to first base. The runner's running. The ball's in the air. Nelly knows where the runner is. He's ready to throw it, but he got back in time.
Well, they do get the first out of the inning. Eric Patterson now. Double play depth for the infield. Patterson flied to left his first trip. Before the Rangers last faced John Lester, Buzz, I asked a few people what their thoughts were on the fact that Lester started this year with the highest career win percentage in modern day baseball. Something none of them were aware of.
Yeah.
They all said, well, he's a really good pitcher, but they were shocked at that. Is that as much a comment on the teams he has pitched for as how good he is?
Well, I think, Dave, equal parts. He is a terrific pitcher and has been since he broke into the major leagues. Being on the Boston Red Sox certainly is not hurting. Let's put it that way. But, I think what's amazing is you normally don't associate left-handers and being successful at Fenway Park in the same group. The Red Sox, you can count on one hand the number of good left-handers they've had win-loss wise in Fenway, and primarily because of Fenway. But Lester, with his stuff, he's unfazed. It doesn't matter where he pitches. He's going to be awfully good. But I don't think the Red Sox and left-handed starters have been synonymous with winning.
You look at the season this year, how consistent he is. 14 out of his 23 starts have resulted in games where he's given up 2 earned runs or less. So he pretty much is one of those guys that goes out there for 7 innings every time, doesn't give up many runs, and as they say, gives his team a chance to win. He's very consistent like that.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to ask the analyst, get your question ready for Steve Busby. Keyword Buzz. Eric Patterson stays alive. So text to 57538 to Buzz. And Anything at all they want to ask you?
Yeah, caution note on that. The level of difficulty has to be below a 2.
Kalish at first, 1-2 to Eric Patterson. And another called strike 3 for Colby Lewis.
Yeah, it's kind of hard when you watch that at bat to see how Patterson swung at the pitch before this that almost bounced. And then it's a nice fastball right on the outside corner for strike 3. And after that, I think it's one reason, Buzz, don't you, that Colby gets his strikeouts is how he mixes up his pitches.
Oh, yeah. And both sides of the plate.
Yeah.
He is really proficient at when he has command of his fastball like he does tonight.
Right.
He is really tough.
Colby has struck out one man every inning. That one gets away from Teagarden, and Kalish trotting down to second base.
Yeah, that would be a pass ball. That one that just got away from Taylor. Just missed it.
Pass ball is the call. Didn't even seem to cross him up, Buzz. He just didn't bring it in.
Yeah, I think he was the runner at first made a bluff towards second, and I think that might have distracted Taylor just before he was going to catch the ball, and looked maybe peaked a little bit early.
Scudero backed off with that one. 0 for 2 tonight. He has struck out last time up. Retired on a nice play behind third base by Michael Young. And as we said earlier, just ending in 0 for 22. Breaking ball doesn't break. 3 balls and no strikes with J.D. Drew on deck. By winning last night, Steve, does that erase the method of the loss the previous game at the hands of the Yankees, or can you ever do that? I mean, a loss is a loss, a win is a win.
Well, Dave, I'll go back to something I said about the ball club, about being able to forget about things they can't control. And this ball club really believes that there's nothing they can do about the past, and they can't worry about the future beyond what's happening today. They're very, very good at shutting those doors.
Michael Young knocks it down. No play, though. And Scudero at first base. Red Sox on the corners for J.D. Drew. Very similar to the play that Michael was able to make last time Scudero batted. And that will go as a base hit.
Yeah, and the good thing is he was able to knock it down. There's going to be another long throw across the diamond, but we've seen him do that in the game against Scudero, so we know that play is there. He just wasn't able to catch it.
So the Red Sox, with their second good scoring opportunity, they left them loaded in the second inning. It was striking out Paul, getting Patterson to fly out. First and third here. Drew is lined to center and struck out. And a little soft line drive in there for a base hit in front of Nelson Cruz. And the Red Sox with the first run of the game. Kalish comes home. It's 1-0. And that sounds like some Red Sox fans yelling Scudero. J.D. Drew very patiently, not trying to do too much with that pitch. Just enough to get it out there and break this scoreless tie. Chance of grooves still reverberating in the ballpark. Victor Martinez now with a chance to keep the inning going.
Nelly Cruz occasionally this year has been able to deke the runners by pretending he's going to catch the ball. Doesn't work quite as well when they know there's 2 outs, though.
Seems obvious, Buzz, that the players are really thriving on this great attendance, these record-setting crowds they're getting.
I don't know how Tom feels, but big crowds get you excited, and I don't really care whether they're for you or against you, but when you have the opportunity to perform in front of sellout crowds, especially when they're for you, like the Rangers have here, it pumps your level of anticipation up, and it gets you excited. And every time the Rangers get a base runner, there's a buzz going around the stadium. That makes you feel good. I think every professional really appreciates the opportunity to display his talent and be part of a winning ball club in front of large crowds.
I think it makes coming to the ballpark fun when you know there's going to be 40, 50,000 people there.
Well, this should do it. Andrews backing out and retires Martinez. But Boston gets the run on 3 base hits. And after 4.5, they lead it 1-0. But it's a pleasure. We'll look for you after the game.
Thanks, guys. I'll be there.
Advanced sales have been strong. Still some good seats left, though. Visit TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. So, Texas now will have to come from behind. It'll be Cantu, Teagarden, and Blanco in the bottom of the 5th inning, and Lester gets Cantu to offer at that first pitch. Jorge fly to right his first time up.
If you're a right-hand hitter, you pretty much can guarantee you're going to see that pitch every at bat. Maybe not every pitch of every at bat, but at least once in every at bat. The hard slider, cutter, whichever you choose to call it, down and in. And that was just his regular fastball for a strike. And notice not many of Lester's pitches are high. Most of them are kept down around the knees. One of the reasons he gets a lot of ground balls.
Cantu letting that one bounce in. 1-2. The temperature beginning this game, as we said, was 102 degrees. Turns out that is the second hottest game time temperature, tied for the second hottest in Rangers ballpark history. 1 degree cooler than August 3rd, 2008. That was the record, 103 degrees. 2-2 to Cantu. But Tom, this week we have seen Nolan Ryan put a completely different spin on the heat issue than I think anybody else ever has in the history of this franchise. Chuck Greenberg as well. 3-2, and that is, okay, you're going to have a few hot starts if you're a pitcher here in the middle of the summer. But we plan to be playing in the postseason more often than not now. And would you rather pitch in Texas in October or in the east, where it's liable to be rainy and cold? Cantu strikes out to begin the 5th inning. Really the first time anybody could say that, because things are aligned now for the Rangers to become a fixture in the postseason.
Yeah, the Rangers before this season started didn't say they hope to get to postseason. They said they expect to be a contender. And I think with that comes the expectations in future years based on the youth on the ball club, based on the farm system, their scouting department, their ability to grow homegrown players. They feel like this will be a thing that perpetuates itself over time. And if that's the case, we will be playing here in September, late September and early October, into October. And it stands to reason the weather should be better here than New York, Boston, Minnesota.
Teagarden, who struck out his first time up, 2 balls and no strikes. The questions were in connection with the hopes of re-signing Cliff Lee. Everyone assuming that the Yankees will be the most aggressive team at going after him. But Nolan Ryan framing the question very differently. Hard shot, just foul. 2 balls and a strike to Teagarden. Something else that has always been just a given about pitchers in this ballpark is that you can't pitch here and have good numbers. Well, Mike Maddox has completely turned that on its ear, because the Rangers this year are pitching every bit as well, even better at home than they are on the road. 2-2. So if you have the right staff with the right philosophy, then you no longer have to assume that pitchers can't have good, impressive numbers pitching in this ballpark.
I think what it boils down to is if you have good pitchers, they'll pitch well here. The better the pitcher, the better he'll pitch in any ballpark. And the Rangers have good pitchers now. They have a good bullpen, and their starting pitchers are good. You look at the way Kobe Lewis throws, gets a lot of strikeouts. C.J. Wilson keeps the ball down, throws hard, gets his share of strikeouts and ground balls. There's no reason you can't win in this ballpark if you've got good stuff. Now, if you have mediocre stuff, you may get knocked around here a little bit worse than you might in other ballparks. But if you've got good stuff, you can get hitters out wherever you're pitching.
Teagarden looks at strike 3. Strikes out for the second time tonight.
And we've shown the stats in this ballpark for Tommy Hunter. They've been excellent in his last 15 starts here, going into his last start. CJ's pitched well here. Kobe's pitched well here. And so that's not an issue now.
Well, this is the first inning in which the Rangers don't get the leadoff man on against John Lester. The first 2 down on strikes. Blanco singled to lead off the third. And then Lester picked him off. Right down the middle with a first pitch fastball. 72 pitches, 45 strikes. Lester cruising at about 15 pitches per inning. Just low, 1-1. Lester's first major league start against the Rangers, June 10th of 2006. With no decision. Very well against them since then. Patterson hauls in the Blanco fly ball, and the Rangers go in order. We've played 5, and it's 1-0 Boston. 6 hits in this game, as opposed to last night's 19-run, 30-hit extravaganza. And again, Colby Lewis in need of run support. So far has none. The Red Sox getting the only run of the game in the 5th inning. Ryan Kalish leading with a single. Took second on the pass ball and scored on a base hit by J.D. Drew. Here's Big Papi to lead off the Red Sox 6th inning. He singled his first time up. Last time up, fouled out to Cantu. 81 pitches now from Colby Lewis. That one finds the outside corner. Rangers have scored no more than 2 runs in Lewis's last 4 starts. He is 0-3 with a no decision in those games. Nicely done with the off speed. 1-2. And in those 4 starts, his ERA is better than as it is for the season as a whole. 3.12 in his last 4 starts. 3.37 coming into tonight overall. Goes to the back door, just misses it. A good call by Paul Nowert. Here's the 2-2. And the check swing by David Ortiz. 26 home runs. His 7th season of 25 or more homers, all with the Red Sox. Only 2 others before him in that category. Ted Williams, 14 25 homer seasons, and Jim Rice, like Ortiz, with 7. Still 2-2. Both the Red Sox and the Rangers are in a very intensive portion of the schedule. The Rangers, after having Monday and Thursday off, this is the second of 20 consecutive games, the most allowed in the majors. Ortiz down on strikes, 6 strikeouts now for Colby Lewis. And let's check in with Emily Jones.
Well, guys, if you've always wanted to know the real story behind the deer and the claw, you can find it on our website, foxsportssouthwest.com. There is a link to that story on our website. It gives you all the dish behind those 2 new traditions of these Texas Rangers. Also, you can find the latest from Dallas Cowboys training camp, and we get you ready for Big 12 football as well, gentlemen.
All right, first ball hitting. Beltre sends it sky high. And it'll be Michael Young, about 3/4 of the way toward the plate to retire Beltre.
And Colby came out and threw Ortiz 5 or 6 really good pitches. Nothing close to a good pitch to hit. Everything tempting. Got him to swing at a pitch down and in. Comes back and gets Beltre on 1 pitch. He's turned his pitch count back in his favor very well after early in the game, after the 2nd inning when he threw a lot of pitches.
Mike Lowell goes after the first pitch. He's 0 for 2. Struck out last time. Angels in Toronto in the top of the 3rd now out at Anaheim. And the Angels lead that one 2-0. Irvin Santana against Brett Cecil. 1-1 to Lowell. Jack in the Box American League West standings. The Angels 8.5 back. Oakland 9.5 back. As Minnesota defeats Trevor Cahill. Brian Dunsing with a very impressive job tonight on the mound for the Twins. Two balls and 2 strikes. Big win for Minnesota. They started 1 game up on the White Sox in the American League Central race. Oakland now 57 and 58. The Rangers trying to get back to 19 games over 500. With the win, they would be 67 and 48. From Lewis.
Yeah, he's throwing well right now.
Got him with a nasty breaking ball.
Great 6th inning.
2 strikeouts as the Red Sox go in order. Fitante from Frisco. If a Ranger hits a grand slam during this inning, Gordon Fitante will win $25,000. You could register at any North Texas Sonic restaurant. Dave Barnett with Tom Grieve. 1-0. Boston leads the Rangers. Top of the Texas order here in the bottom of the 6th against John Lester, and Elvis Andrus shows bunt. Elvis reached on an error by Beltre, the first, singled in the 3rd. Then it'll be Michael Young and Josh Hamilton. Only 4 hits so far against Lester. Right field, J.D. Drew. Back just a couple of steps. And Elvis 1 for 3.
And not much in the way of hard hit balls off Lester. That's how well he's throwing tonight. Not much in the way of good pitches to hit from Lester tonight, to be honest with you.
The first Ranger hit, an infield single by Cruz. Blanco, Andrus, ground singles. Hamilton probably with the hardest hit ball leading off the 4th.
I would say that's probably right. The other hard hit ball was with men on. Nelly Cruz hit the line shot to 3rd base. Right at Beltre. Probably the hardest hit ball, not for a hit. Ended up being an out. That was with Josh at 2nd base.
Well, maybe this one will go the way each of the first 3 games on this homestand were decided in the winning team's final at bat. One ball, 1 strike to Michael. The Rangers enters the month of August 8.5 games up. Same lead they have 2 weeks into the month. So the A's and the Angels basically have to pick up over a game a week the rest of the way. Shallow center field. Patterson got a late start on it, but he outruns it for out number 2. Didn't look like he got a great read off the bat that time, but he's fast enough to make it a non-factor. So 2 outs, and it'll be Josh Hamilton. If those 2 gain just 1 game a week, they're still going to be down at the nub of the schedule. So they've really got to pick it up, and they hope that the Rangers don't just play 500 ball, but somehow collapse the rest of the way. Rangers 10 games up in the loss column against the Angels. That is another way to watch the standings.
I think basically if the Rangers go 500, the Angels have to go 31-14. They have to finish 17 games over if the Rangers end up playing about 500. So the question is, can the Rangers play better than 500? And could the Angels go 31-14 anyway?
The Angels have shown no sign whatsoever of being able to put it together like that. Barely fair, Lowell unassisted. And the Rangers, for the second straight inning, retired 1-2-3. We go to the 7th, 1-0 Red Sox. Hours of energy now. No 2:30 feeling later. 7th inning, 1-0 Boston. Bottom third of their order. Kalish, Hall, and Patterson. Colby Lewis at 94 pitches, 61 strikes, only 33 balls. He has allowed 1 run on 5 hits and has struck out 7, including 2 last inning. Hasn't gotten Kalish yet. He has walked, singled to lead off the 5th, and scored the only run of the game. Meanwhile, John Lester retiring Andrews, Young, and Hamilton, needing only 7 pitches in the bottom of the 6th inning. He is definitely getting better as this game goes on. And the same story. Colby Lewis in another tight pitching matchup. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Alexio Gondo beginning to loosen out the Ranger bullpen, with Lewis about to throw pitch number 99.
Well, Colby's throwing the ball extremely well tonight. He's had basically all his pitches working for him. He's commanded the fastball on the inside and outside corner. He's thrown all his breaking balls for strikes.
Last outing against Oakland, 6 innings, 1 run on 3 hits. Called strike 3.
There's the cutter on the outside corner. He's definitely not been hit hard tonight. The Red Sox have 5 hits. I guess probably the one that Kalish hit was hit as hard as any of them. Most of them have been kind of off the end of the bat, soft line drives to the outfield.
And let's check in with Jim Knox.
All right, real quick, Dave, time for the progressive fan of the game. It has to be Kyler from Grapevine, because all game long, when Big Papi comes to plate, he's been yelling what?
Sit down! The bench is calling you!
Very good. Okay, big time Ranger fan. Here's your bag, here's your hat, here's your shirt. Anything else, Kyler?
Boston, you got nothing!
There we go. All right, way to go, guys. Fans love this guy around here.
Oh, okay. 1-1 to Bill Hall, who has struck out and flied out. I bet somehow we could, if we really listen closely, we could pick that voice out of this packed house. What a great sight it has been as the sun is finally completely set here in North Texas. 1-2 to Hall.
Well, by being able to mix up his pitches, he's had the hitters looking at a lot of the fastballs. I think for two reasons. I think they've been somewhat surprised occasionally when the fastball comes, but mainly because of the location of the fastball. There just haven't been that many in the center of the plate that have been good to swing at. And then on both sides of the plate, Red Sox hitters occasionally have complained about that, but the tracker seems to show that Paul Nauer's done a good job of calling pitches strikes that are strikes tonight. One of the complainers was Hall back in the second inning with the bases loaded and 1 out. Took strike 3 away and vehemently argued. The tracker showed that it was definitely a strike.
Pitch number 105 on the way. Colby has thrown at least 100 every start this year. Pass to diving Michael Young. A 1-out single in the 7th inning. And just the 6th hit allowed by Lewis. First since the RBI single by J.D. Drew back in the 5th inning. Well, Michael giving what he could on that one, just out of his reach. So double play depth of the infield. Eric Patterson steps in. He's 0 for 2. He's flied to left and struck out looking. Before that base hit, Lewis had struck out 3 of the last 4 Boston hitters. Ortiz, Lowell, Kalish. 8 strikeouts all told tonight. Second straight game. He has allowed only 1 run through 6 innings. And in the second inning, 27 pitches really stands out. That's when he got out of the bases loaded jam, striking out Hall. Getting Patterson to fly out. Got some of that back by throwing only 8 pitches the next inning to get Scudero, Drew, and Martinez. Third and the fourth, very low pitch innings. But it takes pitches to strike out as many as he has. Outside. 2-0 to Patterson. Colby stuck on 9 wins for what seems like forever. His last win, in fact, at Boston on July 16th, 8-4. 3 balls and no strikes now. He has issued only 1 walk. That was to Kalish back in the second. And Patterson ready to toss the bat that time. It was in there, 3-1. In there barely. Eric Patterson acquired June 26th from Oakland for left-handed pitcher Fabian Williamson. A's let him go after he hit only .204 there in 45 games. Here's the 3-1. Threw it right past him to run the count full.
And nothing exotic right there. 3-1, looking fastball, getting the fastball. I think the key was it was on the outside corner. It wasn't in the center of the plate. Kept it in a fairly good location for the pitcher. Been doing that all game long.
Ogando warming after pitching an inning last night, the 8th inning. Runner goes, and the throw gets through all the way to center field, but Josh Hamilton comes in to back up the throw. Patterson strikes out for out number 2. Aldo in scoring position for Marco Scudero.
I saw that last night on a throw that goes into center field. And watch how quickly Josh breaks toward the ball. So many times, we said this last night, you see the center fielder back on his heels. By the time he comes in and fields it, the runner easily goes to third. Another example of the alertness that you see when Josh is on the field.
Mike Maddox now out to chat things over with Colby Lewis at 111 pitches now, 71 strikes. Ogando appears to be ready, not throwing at the moment. We can remind you to join us Sunday, August 29th, as the Rangers take on their AL West rival, the Oakland Athletics. First 8,500 fans, 13 and under that afternoon, receive a chest protector backpack. Compliments of Dr. Pepper and Albertsons. Los Lonely Boys play a post-game concert that evening. Pride of San Angelo. That will be presented by State Farm. Buy in advance. Tickets are going fast. For tickets, visit TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. Sunday the 29th, Los Lonely Boys and Rangers A's. Strike one to Scudero, who has struck out, grounded out, restarted infield single. That turned out to be a key play back in the fifth because it kept the inning going for J.D. Drew, who followed with the only run batted in we've seen tonight. 0-2. This may well be the last batter Lewis faces. And this crowd seems to realize that now, rising behind it. A little bit low, 1-2. Well, he has shut down the power supply. This Boston team, 5 home runs, tied their season high last night. 13 home runs their last 4 games. Nothing close in this one.
Well, they've had 6 singles and really have not hit many balls hard, which has been the case for both offenses tonight. Terrific pitching from Lester and from Colby.
And he wants to chat with Teagarden. That man at second base so often forces the pitchers and catchers to make sure that the signals are aligned, that they're on the same page, and that they will not be read and passed on by, in this case, Bill Hall. So only a word or two necessary there. And now time call. Colby's season high strikeout game 10, June 13th at Milwaukee. He is at 9 with a 1-2 count on Scudero. Checks Hall. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And boy, Colby threw that like it was going to be his last pitch. He went from 88-89, where he's been all inning, to 92 with that fastball. Going for the outside corner with his best fastball and just missed.
Three balls and 2 strikes. Scudero not offering on the slider that time. So with 2 outs, Hall will be running from second base. Outside, ball 4. The second walk and the last batter for Lewis tonight as Ron Washington comes out to make the change. Boy, he was so close. Chance to strike out the side here in the 7th inning. But Scudero waited him out. Played off a couple of borderline pitches. And listen to the ovation Colby Lewis will get after another extremely well-pitched game with nothing to show for it on the scoreboard. He leaves trailing 1-0. Ogando on his way in. And as Alexi Ogando winds up, we can remind you that the NFL is back with 2 Fox preseason specials beginning on Thursday as Tom Brady and the Patriots take on the Falcons. And then on Friday, the Eagles begin life without Donovan McNabb as they take on Chad Ochocinco and the Cincinnati Bengals. Both games start at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, high definition only on Fox. It would be 7 p.m. here, Texas time. Alexi Ogando on to work to J.D. Drew. Ogando worked the 8th inning last night. Struck out 2, allowed a base hit to Scutero. 3-1, a 1.08 earned run average. Last 8 appearances, all scoreless, covering 6 innings. Drew has the game's only run batted in. He is also lined to center and struck out. As you look at his glittering record through his first 23 outings, a strikeout per inning. Just missing at 96 miles an hour, 2 balls and no strikes.
Ogando very seldom throws a pitch, a fastball with velocity anything different than 95, 96, or 97. And recently, last 3 or 4 times out, he's thrown a few more sliders than normal, and with a lot of success too.
96 on that one. Matt Harrison may be next into the game. Last night, Harrison and Francisco were not needed. Down low with the slider. Brian Gorman on the appeal at third base. Says he did not go. 3 balls and a strike. Feldman last night, 2 2/3, 4 runs, 2 unearned. And then Oliver Ogando, Feliz, and O'Day lights out. 1 run on a total of 3 hits against that group. Second base, Blanco down on a knee. And Ogando comes in, does the job. The Red Sox with a hit, but they leave 2. Stretch time at Arlington, still 1-0. Colby Lewis, 117 pitches, struck out 9. John Lester has allowed only 4 Ranger base hits through 6 innings, and he's got Vlad Guerrero, Nelson Cruz, and David Murphy here in the 7th inning. Guerrero is struck out And hit a ground ball. That one hit well, but there's room out there for the left fielder, Kalish, just in front of Patterson as they check signals with one another. That could have been a disaster. But Guerrero retired to begin the 7th inning. And last night, the only pitch Nelson Cruz needed from Tim Wakefield in the bottom of the 11th inning to send the Rangers home 10-9 winners. Our Jaguar extraordinary performance from last night. Cruz tonight, an infield single and a sharp line out to Beltre. Lester at just now 85 pitches.
It's probably important in Terry Francona's mind for Lester to pitch deep into the ballgame tonight. Papelbon has pitched a couple of days in a row, thrown a lot of pitches. Bard, their setup guy, threw over 30 or 40 pitches last night. Those are their two key guys late in the ballgame. And the way Lester's throwing right now, he's got a chance to pitch the 7th, probably the 8th. Throwing the ball very well.
That's a little bit low. Well, the Red Sox now in 6 straight starts, including tonight, have scored a total of 6 runs for John Lester. He's 1-4 in that span. But trying to eke out a 1-0 win here. Into the corner goes Drew, looks up, off the top of the wall. And it gets away from him. Cruz will head for third. And make it easily. A 1-out triple for Nelly.
I hope he didn't pull a hamstring. It looked like as he got halfway to third base, he slowed up a little bit. Keep our fingers crossed. That ball almost got out of here. It hit about halfway up in on the fence. If he got it up in the air just a little bit, it would have. But it's away from him. Hit a little bit off the end of the bat, and it caromed away from Drew and allowed Nelly to get to third base. Now David Murphy with the infield in will have a chance to tie the game.
Well, Cruz okay. Takes his lead off third. Murphy 0 for 2 tonight. An 8-game hitting streak yet to be extended. The infield in. And a curve high for ball 1.
Nelly swung the bat well again tonight. He had the line shot caught for the only out. He had an infield hit and a line shot triple off the wall in right field.
Chance to do some damage to the team that drafted him out of Baylor in the first round. The 1-0. Grounded right to Lowell at first base, unassisted for out number 2. Playing the infield in works perfectly. And now up to Cantu.
That was a good swing by David. He just got on top of the ball, hit it on the ground. Ideally in that situation, you're trying to hit the ball in the air, but that's easier said than done against a guy like Lester who gets twice as many balls on the ground as he does in the air. It's not easy to hit the ball in the air against him. You see Nelly kicking that left leg a little bit.
Well, with the hamstring issues he's already had this year, last thing he and the Rangers need is a third go-round with that injury. Cantu is flied out and struck out. Just on the inside corner, strike 1. Jorge still looking for his first run batted in as a Ranger. What better time than now? Down 1-0, bottom of the 7th. Chopper, second baseman, in time, ball to Lowell. And the 1-out triple by Nelson Cruz. But the Rangers still cannot dent the scoreboard against Lester. An entirely new outfield alignment for the Rangers. Julio Bourbon in the game in center field. David Murphy has moved from left to right. Nelson Cruz has come out of the game, and Josh Hamilton from center now to left field. So Cruz, after beating out that triple with one out, Rangers couldn't bring him in. And we'll have to wait and see what the word is from the Rangers locker room about whether Tom Gree was right and he may have tweaked the hamstring, making his way around the base paths.
Yeah, he was going fine until he went from second to third, and then you could see him slow up. Didn't matter because he was going to be safe anyway. And then he kind of was shaking his leg a little bit, trying to loosen it up at third base. Hopefully it's not anything serious. Last thing the Rangers need is for Nelly to go back on the disabled list, as important to their lineup as he is.
Shallow center field. Bourbon immediately called on to make a play, and he does. Victor Martinez 0 for 4, everything in the air today. Well, 48,030, the latest sold-out house here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. Doesn't it look great? The first 4 games of this homestand, a total attendance of 190,022. The average, 47,505. And they have seen some remarkable baseball all this week. First against the Yankees, and the first 2 of these 3 games against the Red Sox here.
The second hottest start time in this ballpark, but you wouldn't know it by the performance of the starting pitchers. Colby Lewis, his 4th straight quality start, his 3rd start in the last 4, where he's only given up 1 run. 6 2/3 in 7 innings, and doesn't have a win in any of those games, only giving up 1 run. And Lester's still out there through 7 innings. So 2 pitchers oblivious to the heat, going out there and doing their thing.
Ortiz flies out to Bourbon. Here's what you were talking about. Around second base, right there. Yep.
Yeah, actually, I thought he felt it as he was going to third. He felt it when he got to second. Probably the worst thing that happened, considering the Rangers didn't score anyway, was when the ball got by Drew and even gave Nelly the thought that he could go to third. Because it looked like he started to feel it right when he got to second base.
Aaron O'Day loosening up for the Rangers now. The 1-0 pitch to Beltran. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, what games this week? 4-3 Rangers against the Yankees, then the heartbreaking 7-6 loss, 10-9 win, and 11 last night. Another 1-run game here. 2-0 pitch, another fly ball. Murphy coming in hard, gets there in time. Ogando has retired all 4 batters he has faced. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Teagarden, Blanco, and Andrews due up. leader bat. Full-size bat features his image and facsimile signature, plus the words all-time Rangers hits leader. This historic bat is limited to 2010 individually numbered bats and sells for $99.95. I guess that's 2010 individually numbered bats. $99.95 plus shipping and handling. Call 866-280-BATS or see it on the web at BigTimeBats.com. Taylor Teagarden looks at a ball. He has struck out twice against John Lester. Lester at 93 pitches now. Teagarden, then the number 9 hitter Blanco, followed by the top of the order Andrews here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Outside 2-0. Between innings, we did get the word on Nelson Cruz, and it was tightness in his left hamstring that caused him to be pulled. Now remember, he also had a strained left hammy May 29th through June 21st, his second stint on the DL. And from April 27th to May 13th, he was on the DL with a strained right hamstring. So this is the third time this year for Cruz to deal with basically the same injury, the second time to the same leg. 2-2 to Teagarden. So no one knows at this point if he will have to miss time. If so, how much? Will he have to go back on the DL? But if that's the case, if he misses any time at all, Tom, what a shame the way he's playing these days.
Well, it's happened to him 3 times this year, and we're going to hope that it's not the disabled list. But each time it's happened, he's been hot, and one of the guys carrying the offense. So it couldn't have come the first 2 times at a worse time, and hopefully that won't be the case the third time, because he's obviously a huge contributor to the offense.
Taylor Teagarden strikes out for the third time. 1 out of the 8th. Blanco now. He is singled and was picked off first base. Last time up, fly to center.
You got Ian still trying to come off the disabled list, so you got your 3rd place hitter and your 5th place hitter, and you'd hate to have both of those guys out. Oh, you love the way David Murphy has stepped in and started to swing the bat. And if that is the case, then what you have to have is you have to have other guys step up and pick up the slack.
Well, they'll get no sympathy from the Red Sox.
No, it's pretty much the same thing for them. Pedroia and Euclid are out. Guys right in the middle of their lineup.
They have had 16 players, total 19 separate stints on the DL. They have 6 on the list right now. 9 current or former All-Stars have been on the DL for the Red Sox. Pedroia hoping that he can resume playing after breaking his foot in June. Begins rehab action at Pawtucket today. They may have him in Boston as early as Tuesday. 2-1. Veritek about a week to 10 days behind Pedroia in his recovery. So that's another reason that it's pretty remarkable that Boston is still hanging in there. 15 over 500, 6 back of the Yankees. Blanco works the count to 3 balls and a strike. The 3-1 pitch, chop foul. Action in the Boston bullpen. Felix Dubront, a left-hander, and Scott Atchison, the former TCU Horned Frog from Denton, is the right-hander. They both saw action last night. Hardly a relief pitcher on either team that didn't get involved in that game. Beltre backhands a rocket. And a strike to Lowell for out number 2. And let's check in with Emily Jones.
Guys, a quick update on Tommy Hunter. He is not in the dugout tonight, at home resting as he continues to battle that stomach bug that he was dealing with last night. The team thought it was important for him to get his rest and also to keep him isolated from the other guys in case he was still contagious. So if Tommy is at home watching, Tommy, we hope you get well soon.
Yes, we second that up here for sure.
Good at bats for Blanco in the game. He had a base hit, a line drive to center, and that hard smash to third. All 3 times he swung the bat well against Lester.
A little bit outside to Andrews. Elvis reached on an error by Beltre. The first, singled in the third, fly to right in the 6th. .104 pitches now for Lester. Now, should it remain 1-0, and they've got to go back to Papelbon for a save. What must be going through his mind after what has happened to him already this week?
Yeah, and it remains to be seen whether he's available or not. He had the game in Toronto 2 days ago. He pitched well in last night's game, a shutout inning. Well, chances are a veteran like Papelbon could come back 3 straight nights. You have to think if he's available that he will get the ball in the ninth inning.
If the Rangers can get a lead, Ron Washington says Neftali Feliz will be available tonight.
Yeah, he threw 2 innings and 17 pitches last night.
Elvis taking all the way, 3 balls and a strike.
And Lester has delivered exactly what the Red Sox were looking for, a well-pitched, deep into the ball game start.
3-2. Lester's thrown as many as 124 pitches this year. That was 5 starts ago. Doesn't seem to be affected at all by the fact this started at 102 degrees, the second hottest game in Rangers ballpark history. 108 pitches, hardly showing any signs of wear and tear. 2 outs here in the 8th. A 3-2 pitch to Andrews, and Beltre handles the short hop. Rangers go in order. We head to the 9th. 1-0 Red Sox.
Rangers Live is coming up right after the game. Join me and Steve Busby for a complete wrap-up. We'll have reaction from both clubhouses, the Rangers and the Red Sox. Buzz will answer your text, the analyst questions, plus highlights from both of the Rangers' upcoming opponents. That's because they're playing each other today, Tampa Bay and Baltimore. And we'll get you ready for C.J. Wilson's start in the finale tomorrow. All of that and much more coming up right after the game on Rangers Live. Dave.
All right, Dana, thanks. There's somebody going with the claw and the antlers. He's very well plugged in. How long do you think he worked on that apparatus?
You know, he's on TV now. It's pretty impressive.
Darren O'Day on to work the 9th inning, and Mike Lowell lifts one foul and back out of play. Lowell 0 for 3, has struck out twice. O'Day, a perfect 11th inning last night to get the win. His 4th against 2 losses this year, career high 4 wins. And working on the club record, 29 consecutive scoreless appearances, 26 1/3 consecutive shutout innings. And his ERA has dropped in that span from 2.61 down to, as you see, 1.15. Second best among American League relief pitchers. Slider taken for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Not missing by much.
If at all. Could have gone either way.
1-2.
Good combination. The slider away and then the sinker down and in. Now you're a hitter. You've seen both pitches. You're behind in the count 1 and 2. You're up there thinking, okay, what's it going to be? Sinker, slider? The other thing Darren likes to do in this situation is throw a fastball up and away, a little out of the strike zone, to try to get the hitter to chase it. You got a lot of things he can try here. Can't go wrong with that pitch as long as you put it there. Slider, outside corner. Lowell just ticked it off the end of the bat.
Had to really reach to get any piece of that one. Ogando with an inning and a third, perfect. 1 ground out, 3 fly balls. Now 2 and 2. O'Day coming up under Lowell's chin. In the 11th last night, he got Scutero to fly out, Martinez to line out to right, and Ortiz popped out to third, and then Tipton Wakefield came in to throw one fateful pitch to Nelson Cruz. Lowell hangs in. Will there be similar heroics tonight? The Rangers in the 9th inning have Young, Hamilton, and Guerrero. And between the 3 of them tonight, they're a combined 1 for 9. Hamilton with the only hit.
And unless Papelbon has already thrown, he is not warming up out in the bullpen.
Ted Barrett says no go on the appeal, and it's 3 and 2.
I think that's a good call. It was close, but I think he checked it.
And Lowell continues to make Darren O'Day labor. This will be at least a 9-pitch at bat. Well, the Red Sox have experienced consecutive walk-off losses for the first time since 2004. Thursday, up 5-2 in the 9th in Toronto. Papelbon gave it up, lost 6-5. And it was last night. Line drive in there, left center field. That will roll for a while. Bourbon will have to take it off the wall, and it's a leadoff double for Mike Lowell beginning the 9th inning. What an at-bat.
Yeah, he deserved that hit after the way he battled. He fouled off some tough pitches. The sliders away, the sinkers in. He waited out and finally got a good pitch to hit. And when he did, he took advantage of it. He hit it in the gap for a double.
Perfectly splitting Hamilton and Bourbon out there. So, big trouble here for O'Day, trying to keep this 1-0. Here's Ryan Kalish, who has walked, led off the 5th with a single, and ended up scoring. So far, the game's only run driven in by J.D. Drew. Last time up, he was strikeout victim number 8 of the 9 on the night for Colby Lewis. Colby 6 2/3, 1 run, 6 hits. That one driven hard but foul, and Lewis will make it 5 consecutive starts without a win.
With no one warming up in the Red Sox bullpen, it would appear that Francona is going to see if Lester can finish out the game. He had a start several starts ago where he threw 124 pitches. He's been in under 100 pitches his last 2 starts. And with Hamilton coming up, I'm sure he would like to have Lester on the mound to pitch to him.
Since the 4th inning, only one Ranger has reached. That was Cruz with that 1-out triple in the 7th inning. So Lester has been sailing for a long time. Got Murphy in Cantu after that triple by Cruz in the 7th. He's made lots of clutch pitches and does not appear to be at all out of gas. Meanwhile, 1-2 to Kalish. Pedro Strop just called up again today, with the Rangers putting Christian Guzman on the DL with a quad strain, and Matt Harrison up, boosting up again.
Yeah, with 20 straight games, the Rangers opt for an extra pitcher, which gives them only 3 extra men, but 8 guys out in the bullpen.
2 balls and 2 strikes. In Anaheim, they're in the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Angels leading Toronto 5-1. A 2-hitter so far by Irvin Santana. The Angels 8.5 back of the Rangers. A rocket right through past Blanco. Murphy gets it back in a hurry. Lowell, who does not run well at all, stops at third base. And O'Day is greeted by back-to-back base hits, first and third. Nobody out for Bill Hall.
2 good at bats, 2 well hit balls. Lowell and Kalish, they waited through the at bat until they got a good pitch to hit, and then when they got it, they took advantage of it, and they hit it well.
Oh, not that this is the primary concern here, but O'Day has really got a maneuver to keep these streaks alive in consecutive appearances and shutout inning streaks.
Well, you'd love to see him do it, because if the Red Sox score again, it makes it that much more difficult to come back against Lester the way he's throwing right now. So they'll be doing everything they can to prevent the Red Sox from scoring right here.
Howard out to break it up. Maddox headed back to the dugout. And here is Bill Hall. Last time up, singled and stole second base. He's also struck out and fly to right. Boston now out hitting Texas 8-5. They have the game's only run. They have the game's only error. They have left 7 on base. The Rangers have had so few base runners, they've left 4.
The Rangers going to play the infield back up the middle with nobody out.
Base hit. 1 pitch, all it takes for Bill Hall to make it 2-0 Red Sox. And the streaks are over for Darren O'Day. 3 straight hits greet him here in the 9th inning. And for Hall, his 37th run batted in. That will be all she wrote tonight for Darren O'Day. Ron Washington will come out to get him. So the club record comes to an end at 29 consecutive scoreless appearances, 26 and a third consecutive shutout innings. That had been the longest active scoreless streak in the major leagues. Matt Harrison coming on as we take a break. 2-0 Boston. Michael Young handling the shot by Marco Scutaro back in the third inning. It is 2-0 Red Sox. Matt Harrison, who struck out Robinson Cano for the last out of the ninth inning Wednesday in the Yankee victory, comes in 2-1, one save and a .390 earned run average, but it's a 1.50 ERA in his last 13 outings. 4 earned runs in 24 innings over that span. Patterson shows bunt, corners charge, and it is ball 1. So O'Day gives up the double to Lowell, the single to Kalish, to the RBI single to Bill Hall. Kalish at second, Hall at first. Patterson 0 for 3. And the Rangers expecting another bunt. He shows bunt, but takes a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. And Tom, imperative now for Harrison not to let this get any worse than 2-0. That's going to take some pretty slick maneuvering too.
Yeah, you'd love to get Patterson to pop up the bunt. That would be a good start. But the way Lester's throwing and the way he's been throwing, you're definitely right. Hate to see the second run score the way he's been throwing.
Matt Harrison changing roles back and forth this year from the bullpen to the rotation to the minors, back up. And as those numbers I just ran down indicate, it's been a nice compliment to Darren Oliver as a lefty out of the pen. The bunt is a good one. Harrison not in time at first base. It looked like he couldn't decide whether he would take that or Michael Young would. And everybody's safe. The bases are loaded with nobody out.
It was an excellent bunt by Patterson. It shows you if you got speed and you can lay down a perfect bunt, even if the other team expects it, there's no guarantee they're going to turn it into an out. A little bit of indecision and a lot of speed from the hitter. There's a textbook example of how to lay down a sacrifice bunt by Patterson.
Who should have fielded that?
I think Michael had the best shot at it because he was coming forward, and I think it would have been an easier throw for him. Both of the guys were going to have a hard time because of how well that bunt was laid down and the location of it, but I think Michael might have had a little bit easier chance.
Infield in, out to center field. Bourbon not able to hang on to it. He had it and he lost it. And it is 3-0. Kalish scores. How in the world did Julio not make that catch?
Well, he got to it. He just dropped it. He had a ways to go for it. Not sure if he was thinking about throwing it before he caught it. It was going to be a sacrifice fly anyway. There wasn't much he could do about that. Might have taken his eyes off it. It's a ball that he'll probably catch the next 100 times it's hit to him, but he just didn't catch it that time.
And he is charged with the error. So each team with an error. That one allows Kalish to score. Everybody else moving up now. Hall is at third, Patterson at second, Scutaro at first. Maddox discussing what to do about J.D. Drew now. Before this inning, Drew had the only RBI of the game, a single back in the 6th inning to score Kalish. He's also lined to center, struck out, and grounded out. And we found out how many Red Sox fans are here among the 48,030. When he drove in that run in the 5th inning, we heard the rising chants of Drew as he takes low, ball 1. (3-0). Bases loaded, still nobody out. So the double play may happen right here. Blanco comes home out there on the first double play. 4-2-3. Harrison gets exactly what he needs.
Yeah, and probably the only way you're going to turn a 4-2-3 double play is it has to be a hard hit ball, and it was. It was a one-hop smash right straight to Blanco, and they were able to turn it.
Now Victor Martinez with second and third and 2 outs. He is 0 for 4. Everything has been in the air tonight for Martinez. Big Poppy hoping that he gets a shot here, and in fact he will, as they will intentionally walk Martinez with first base open and let Harrison work the lefty-lefty matchup against Ortiz.
And if you're able to get Ortiz right here, then the ball that Julio dropped really doesn't come into play. The guy was going to score in second. It's a sacrifice fly anyway. He gets an error, but the batter doesn't get it in at bat. He gets a sacrifice fly, Scooter. And you got to bear down and get Big Poppy right here.
Ortiz tonight singled his first time up. He is fouled out, struck out, and flied out. 9 grand slams. One this year. 359 with the bases loaded over his career. Harrison very tough against left-handed hitters, though. They are only .206 against him. And just off the plate. Eric Patterson at third, Marco Scutaro at second, Victor Martinez at first. 2 runs in here in the ninth. But 2 outs, 2 balls and no strikes. Understandable that Harrison would be very careful with Ortiz, but it's almost worse to be too careful. Put his bat on it and trust the defense to make the play. Through the middle, the shift has Andrews playing perfectly right behind second base. And out number 3, but Boston gets 2 critical insurance runs. On 4 hits, 1 error. They leave him loaded. Young, Hamilton, and Guerrero. Last chance for the Rangers. Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And buy the Ford F-150. Check out the 2010 F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. Dave Barnett, Tom Bree, bottom of the ninth, 3-0 Boston, and Scott Atchison, the native of Denton, product of TCU, on in search of his first save. He is 2-1, a .379 earned run average. Last night he stranded an inherited runner, retired both batters he faced in the 6th inning, his 3rd hold of the year. He has not allowed an earned run in 8 of his last 9 outings, a 1.29 ERA in that span. And it is Atchison, not the struggling Papelbon, in the save opportunity here.
And the reason no one was warming up in the bullpen was because Atchison had already warmed up and was ready to come into the game. And it is a save situation. And you have to assume that Atchison would have come into the game if it was 1-0. Lester was over 100 pitches on a hot night. But it's a lot easier to bring in someone other than your closer in a save situation when it is a 3-run game.
Line drive, flag down by Bill Hall. That hit all that sharply. 1 out in the 9th inning. Josh Hamilton, we look at last night's home run, Coors Light cold hard blast. Number 25 on the year last night. It is amazing. 4-hit all-around display of baseball excellence. And he looks at a first pitch strike. Atchison coming right after Young and Hamilton. Remember, the Rangers have only been shut out once all year. That is the low for either league. It was back on May 15th at Toronto, 6-0 at the hands of Ricky Romero 77 games ago. Everyone else has been shut out at least 3 times. Went in on the fist, foul back, 2-2 to Josh. 1 for 3 tonight, 2 ground outs and a single. John Lester, 8 innings, no runs, 5 hits, 5 strikeouts. And he did not walk a batter.
Yeah, very impressive outing for John Lester. On a night it's this hot.
Look at this carry. Kalish back, looking up. Home run! Hamilton does it again. Number 26. No shutout. It's 3-1.
Shows you how strong he is. He's just up there trying to put the ball in play with a couple of strikes and lofts it 395 feet to left center field.
Boy, the pitch he hit well up there. Probably 2 or 3 inches high at least. Went with it outside corner. Muscled it out of here. Here's Guerrero. And he fouls the first pitch off. The jet stream is to right center field. But it looked like that one definitely got some help by the wind.
I think the most help it got was the power off Josh's bat to launch it that far.
The flags are blowing really in a couple of different directions. They're coming in as usual from right center field. But if you look at the flags above left field, it shows a wind blowing out. And the wind definitely looked like it gave Hamilton a little extra push just above the left field wall. That one makes it 2-2 to Vladdy. And at this point, of course, they just need him to get on somehow. With Cruz having been pulled because of tightness in his left hamstring, running out a triple back in the 7th inning. He is not the on-deck hitter. Toward the hole, backhanded by Scudero from one knee. The bounce, not in time for the second straight night. Guerrero safe at first with a headlong dive.
Vladdy was going to do whatever he could to make it to first base safely. And now you've got a pinch hitter right here, Mitch Moreland, and you've got the tying run at the plate. And you've got a couple of guys coming up. Moreland hit a home run last night. Murphy's had some big home runs for the Rangers. And now with one swing of the bat, you got a chance to tie this ball game. Francona's going to come out. I'm sure he's got a lefty warmed up out there. If it's not Papelbon, you can't see because of the screen. But that's going to be it for Atchison.
Well, how about the hustle, the desire by Vlad Guerrero? Whatever it took to get on base and allow the potential tying run to come to the plate with one out. So, Felix Dubront, plenty of time to get loose. It is 3-1. We are not yet done. Back for the rest of the bottom of the ninth in a moment. And that is nailed down this Boston win in the ninth inning. Seventh outing is 2-2. Dubront last night got his first career hold, although he allowed 2 runs in 2/3 of an inning. He got the win Tuesday at Toronto, and he's got pinch hitter Mitch Moreland here. And a first pitch fastball for a strike. Guerrero at first, beating out an infield single. Hamilton with a home run, ending the shutout bid. And the drama with the rookie Moreland looking to keep the bottom of the ninth going for the Rangers. Do they have more magic in them yet? There goes Guerrero. He slides out at second base. Martinez to Scudero, and that is about the last thing the Rangers needed there. They needed Guerrero on the bases. They did not need him at second base.
I have no idea why he's running on that play. There's nothing to be gained from the play. You've got to have 2 runs score. The only way you can have 2 runs score is for someone to be on base right now.
And the pitch was a strike. So 2 outs, 0-2. And Dubront thought he had strike 3 there. Boy, a veteran like Vlad Guerrero, who's been through as many wars as he had.
So the only thing that I can say in his favor is he was looking in toward the batter. And sometimes on a hit and run, you might look in to see what's happening at the plate. So there may be a chance that the hit and run was on, but if that was the choice to go on that play, then it definitely was the wrong choice.
There is strike 3. And tonight, no last at-bat magic for the Rangers. They lose 3-1. They made it interesting. They got the tying run to the plate. But this series now even at a game apiece. Tomorrow, 2:05, the rubber game. On the other side of this break, we'll check in with Dana Larson and Steve Busby.